Welcome to my brand spanking new SFM tutorial series without the nonsense. Episode 1, UI Basics. Before we can get to anything special, we must first understand the UI. That's user interface for you cavemen out there. This right here is the session creation and loadout screen. This is where you essentially create saves or projects and open pre-existing ones too. The screen itself is pretty self-explanatory, but we'll get into more of this later. What we need to do here is create a new session. At the top, you will see New Session Name. Go ahead and type whatever for your project's file name. For the sake of this video, I will promptly name this session Beginner's Tutorial. Once you've named your project, click the Create button on the right of the screen. This is what I call the workspace. I'm sure it has an actual name, but hell if I know it. You have your basic animation tools all around here, which we will get into on further videos. I don't want to overwhelm anyone here. What's really important is that we load a map into the scene. When SFM starts a new session, it will always say no map loaded. To load a map, we go up to the top left corner, hit File, and then Load Map. This will open the map selection screen. Unfortunately, SFM doesn't do preview images for maps, so for now, we'll just load up the most basic map for convenience. Type Stage into the map search bar and double-click the stage map name and wait for SFM to load the map. Don't worry about the top filters. We'll cover that in another video. Welcome to your complete workspace. This screen here is called your primary viewport and is where you will be 99% of the time in SFM. You can move all sorts of tabs and windows around to your liking and adjust viewport sizes. You can even add another view tab if you so please, but we'll get to secondary viewports in another video. So for now, feel free to customize the workspace UI to your liking. But if you don't want to change it or want some example workspaces, I'll be happy to show you how I made mine. Go to the top of the workspace, where File is. Click on View, and then click Show in Full Screen. This maximizes SFM's workspace a bit, and can be quite neat and tidy. Click and drag the sides and bottom of the viewport and adjust the scale to your liking, but be careful not to cover up the bottom timeline or the side tools over on the left too much. You can do the same to the timeline at the bottom or the left side tools. Before we can proceed to moving the camera around, there's an important setting we must change first. Right-click your viewport and click Render Settings. I won't linger here for long as it's a topic for another video. For now, we need to uncheck Ambient Occlusion. All you need to know right now is that disabling this will severely reduce lag. Hit OK and the window will close. Let's focus our attention to the Work Camera tab at the bottom left corner. This is your work camera, but to properly do shit in SFM, we need our regular camera. Click the small arrow next to the Work Camera tab, change Scene Camera, and New Camera. This will change the work camera to Camera 1. This is the camera that SFM will use when rendering an image or animation. This is also where models, lights, and particle effects will spawn from. If you click the Camera's 1 tab in the bottom left corner, it will change to the Work Camera tab, and vice versa. The work camera is primarily used for working on your scene while Camera 1 stays still. Say for example you have the camera angle posed already in the scene and don't want it moved. Now to the final part of today's video. Moving the camera and saving sessions. Camera movement is basically the same as a first-person shooter. It only works, however, if you're holding down left mouse button, or fire button for us gamers. While holding left mouse button on the primary view tab, you can move your mouse around to move the camera around and use the WASD keys on your keyboard to move the camera forward, backward, left, and right. The C key makes the camera go up, and the X key makes the camera go down. Holding R key while moving the mouse will allow camera rotation, and scrolling in and out on your mouse wheel will change the camera's zoom and field of view. That's all for today's video. I apologize if this first episode seems a little mundane, but we have to start this series from scratch. And I promise you, all episodes after this will feature much more exciting content. When you're done with your session, go to File, Save As, and select any file destination on your PC to place your save session. I keep my save sessions for SFM in a folder I created on my desktop, titled SFM Projects. The more organized you can keep your sessions, the easier it will be loading them up again. That just about wraps it up. My goal at the end of this series is to get new people familiar with SFM and go off to make their own content. Future videos will mainly consist of the basic knowledge needed to make your own art, but some videos will be about cool tips, tricks, and cheats I've learned over my years in SFM. If you want to keep up with my ongoing series, please consider subscribing and hitting that stupid little bell for notifications, assuming YouTube wants it to work or not. Join me in the next video where we cover the different timelines, spawning models and lights, that funny ambient occlusion screen from earlier, and more. Till next time, stay educated.